With less than 30k to go, he had 2 teammates there. There was the group was down to 8 or 10 riders. All he had to do was conserve that lead, really. We're going to have harder days ahead of us. I don't know what he expected to gain from that. Maybe another 30, 40 seconds on his closest rivals, but it shows a weakness in his confidence. And that's quite a big statement to say about Tadej, because we've become accustomed to him racing in this style, and that's what makes him so great, and that's why everyone loves him. But I tell you what, Jonas Vingegaard, he's a tough cookie, and today, they asked the question at the end there to Tadej, have you lost the psychological battle today? And he says, no, I don't think I have. So it's on his mind. But his whole interview was full of contradictions.
Yep. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Move podcast. Actually, today I have renamed the podcast. Today it's not called the Move podcast. Today it's called the Momentum podcast. Because the momentum, folks,
I like it,
just shifted. If you didn't watch the race, you probably felt it. But anyways, whatever you want to call the podcast, each and every day brought to you by Ketone IQ. We'll get into that later. Talking about stage 11, Alain?
Stage 11, from Évaux-les-Bains to Le Lorient. From Évaux-les-Bains to Le Lorient.
What? I just said it. The momentum shifted. Jonas Vingegaard, folks. Big day. This is maybe the biggest day of his tour career. This was a huge day.
Yeah. And since we're on Peacock today, I feel like I need to make a reference to an iconic American movie. Today was a Rocky Balboa heavyweight title fight. I mean,
yes.
Pogacar was throwing uppercuts, jabs the whole way, drew some blood on Jonas on that third to last climb, attacked, rode away. We thought he was almost done. Jonas starts clawing back. Roglic catches him. They work together. They close the gap, gets the second last time, catches him, loses the bonus sprint, 8 seconds, which at the time, right now, is very important in sprint. Descends down with them, taking mad risk. Obviously, Jonas took less risk on that third to last descent, but then comes down to the finish, and we're wondering, why is Jonas pulling? Well, he had the energy, sprints across the line for first place. I in my mind, I thought Jonas was about to start screaming, Adrian! I mean, that's what I was thinking. That was the type of day we witnessed today.
Bradley?
Yeah, I mean, that was, it was a strange stage as well. I did not expect that to happen.
No.
He's got 2 teammates there, Adam Yates and Almeida, 30k to go, and we see him attack on that climb. And we talk about burning matches all this Tour de France, haven't we?
Every tour. A lot of races, actually.
And today, I think that was a man who I thought, I don't know, we saw these comments the other day where he thought that Jonas was scared of him. I think it's the other way around.
Yep. We're going to keep getting into this, but I forgot to take care of business, right? But let's take care of a little bit. There's so much to talk about. Literally, this could be a 2-hour podcast. It won't be, because George has to go train and I'm going to go accompany him. But there is a lot to cover, and we're going to get into that. But first, let's talk about the new Zwift Ride. This is an affordable smart bike that's packed with features you'd expect from much more expensive alternatives. At $12.99, it offers top-tier performance without breaking the bank. So whether you're training for a race or a big event, or just trying to stay fit, Zwift Ride has you covered. It's quiet, easy to set up, and incredibly versatile. So if you're looking for a smart bike that gives you a great value, look no further. Head to Zwift.com and get yours today. Plus, let's remind you, the Move is available. The Move or the Momentum, whatever you want to call it, is available to listen to on Zwift throughout the tour. So if you're at home and want to listen to us, pedal away, get fit, you know where to go. Multiple rides daily are playing the latest episode of the Move, so you can keep up to date with the latest action from the Tour de France while getting in the daily ride with members of the We Do community. Also today brought to you by Roka. Yep, they've changed the game. They're just straight up. They're making the best glasses, sunglasses, prescription glasses, performance glasses, no slip, very lightweight, hand built in our hometown of Austin, Texas. Rob and his crew have, as I said, they have changed the game. They've got the best optics on the market. No other sunglasses compare. Crystal clear, fog resistant, scratch resistant. By the way, too, the readers, if you're watching the show, all my friends down in Eritrea, I'm coming. I don't know when. I think it's fair to say I'm going to Eritrea. We're going to get to that later too, because we got some fun Eritrea stuff. We're coming.
I'm down. I'm down.
George will go anywhere, by the way. Send
the Jizzy. I'll go anywhere.
And we'll be rocking our Rokas. All right, all you folks in Eritrea, load up on the Rokas. Move listeners get 20% off. Just go to Roka, ROKA.com. Enter the code THEMOVE at checkout. Roka.com. Also today brought to you by AG1. Morning routines are critical to me, and one of the most important parts of my routine is drinking my AG1. Plain and simple, I start every day with this protocol. I drink it before workout, right before I make my coffee. Makes me feel ready to take on my day. And you know what? Like I like to say, feels like I'm taking control of my health. It is a foundational nutrition supplement that delivers daily nutrients and check this out, gut health support, and is backed by multiple research studies, so you can totally trust what you're putting in your body. If there's one product that I trust to support my whole body, it's AG1, and that's why I've partnered with them for so long. It's easy and satisfying to start your journey with AG1. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2, Mr. Wiggins. All you roast beefs over there in England, you don't get any sun. Right?
We don't know.
No, that's right. So that you need the D3K2. Plus, we do. Check this out. You also get 5 free AG1 travel packs. And when you're traveling a bunch, just throw it in your backpack, throw it in a bottle, mix it up, and you're taking control of your health. Head on over to drinkag1.com/TDF. That's drinkag1.com/TDF. This is the Tadej Pogacar we have come to know and in many ways to love. Look, he is the best of this generation. I think the thing to keep in mind here is he has a 1 minute and 14-second lead on Jonas Vingegaard.
Doesn't feel that way though.
And if you watch the race today, if you just, I don't know, got plopped in and you hadn't paid attention, you would have thought he was a minute 14 behind.
Yeah.
This just doesn't, I don't know what's going on in the team car. I don't know what's going on in the team meetings. He's got 4 riders in the top 10. It's a hard stage. It's a very hard stage, but this is not a make or break stage for the life of me. And I can only imagine what the Svengali Johan Brunel is thinking right now, the master tactician going, what is going on? This makes absolutely no sense.
It made no sense at all.
0 sense.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brad.
No, it was just less than 30K to go. He had 2 teammates there. There was the group was down to 8 or 10 riders. All he had to do was conserve that lead, really. We're going to have harder days ahead of us. I don't know what he expected to gain from that. Maybe another 30, 40 seconds on his closest rivals, but it shows a weakness in his confidence. And that's quite a big statement to say about Tadej, because we've become accustomed to him racing in this style, and that's what makes him so great, and that's why everyone loves him. But I tell you what, Jonas Vingegaard, he's a tough cookie. And today, they asked the question at the end there to Tadej, have you lost the psychological battle today? And he says, no, I don't think I have. So it's on his mind. But his whole interview was full of contradictions.
Yep. It was delusional. He said in the interview that I thought it was a good day. I don't know how anybody sits back and looks on that day and says, it was a good day. Wasn't.
You noticed something, George, as well on the podium, didn't you?
Well, yeah. Before I go to that, I do want to elaborate on what you guys said. We're huge Tadej Pogacar fans.
Yes.
The guy is a freaking rock star, stud. But just watching today from the beginning, 50 kilometers an hour, 80K in the first 80K. The ballers of breakaway ballers made the breakaway today. Carapaz, Ben Healy, Turgis, Lutsenko. I mean, the guys that spend their whole year thinking about making these breakaways in the Tour de France, winning a stage in a type of stage like today. My point is, you're pissing these guys off for no reason. You're keeping them at under 2 minutes. You're in the yellow jersey. You can just this is the Tour de France. Everybody wants to win, but you're making enemies. These guys are not going to want to help you in the next 10 days because why are you racing like that? Secondly, you're pissing your teammates off. Like you pointed out, you have 3 guys in the top 10 that can potentially easily stay there or move up. You're burning them up, riding away from them, and then you're burning yourself up. I mean, the whole thing, we're watching it unfold. It was one of the most exciting
But who's making these
stages.
calls?
Yeah,
is it Tadej or is it the manager?
pissing people off and losing a huge psychological battle, in my opinion.
Bradley, I think it's a fair question, right? There's sort of 3 steps here, right? There's the team meeting, right? This is what we're going to do today. Now, you can plan all you want. There's 200 guys in the race. It's an open road. Who knows what's going to happen? They're going to start fast. They're going to start slow. Who knows? Then there's what happens real time, right? And they're saying, that's where the mistake comes in, because you can plan all you want, and everybody's really smart in the team meeting. Everybody, they've got the perfect tactics. You get into the race, and when the shit happens real time, do they have control over him? Because they could say, sit in. You have a 1:14 lead. Let Jonas open up the race. Let him. He's behind. Let him attack. They can say that real time. Whether or not Tadej has the self-control to do that, I think that might be the issue, because
it's the responsibility of the director to have that control. I mean, yes, you had a ton of say in the team, but ultimately, if Johan said, Lance, what the hell are you doing? Sit up, wait, you would do it. We ran into one of his directors in Tour of Flanders last year, and the first thing he said is we can't control the guy. He wants to win every race. Well, a race like the Tour de France and the position you're in, you need to be in control.
Yeah.
You need to rely on your teammates and your support staff.
Look, I always think it's great to have a strong-willed and strong-headed leader, right? That partnership, that relationship between the leader of the team and the director of the team is a collaboration. Right. So, but if there is if you sort of have a strong, you have to default to the director. It's his job to control the tactics. And let me remind everybody listening, right? Machine is in the car doing the tactics. When is the last time Tadej Pogacar rode a perfectly tactical Tour de France? It was when Alan Piper was in the car, right? So they had this collaboration, but the tactics were different. What we saw on the road was very differently. Alan Piper, by the way, he's right up there with Johan Brunel.
Yeah.
He really is.
Yeah.
And so, but he is not in the car. That to me is the single biggest difference.
Did you guys see how before the attack, Pogacar was trying to get some attention? I think he was maybe looking, because he passed on water. He was maybe looking for some nutrition, and then
I think that was after the attack.
Then he attacks, and it's just was he just bonking? Did he find?
That's when he was getting reeled in from Vingegaard. Right?
Yeah,
and I assume, I'm guessing he thought perhaps his team car was there. Look, the motorcycle with bottles is either water or some tour provided hydration mix, right? That's not what he was interested in, right? He had the stuff he's used to that he knows works. And that wasn't there. He couldn't get that at that point, and he waved off the motorcycle. Nonetheless, he was looking for something.
Like I mentioned before, I mean, these guys have their nutrition so dialed in and so precisely planned that many times, if they happen to miss a bottle from one of their staff on the side of the road, their whole game might be over, and he might have missed it. Who knows? But these guys are scattered throughout the whole day. They know exactly where they're going to be. And like we mentioned before the start, if you're eating on the podium of the Tour de France with a mouthful of food, a ham, cheese sandwich, whatever
while
it
you're
was,
receiving the yellow jersey.
You've never seen these guys eating while receiving the yellow jersey. Never been seen before. That means you completely cracked at the end, and you're just trying to get whatever you can back in. Desperate to recover. I mean, a mouthful of food on the podium.
He was
you
chewing.
Don't see.
He was chewing. You don't see a lot of folks chewing, putting on the yellow jersey.
No.
Wow. We're all speatless.
Yeah, we are.
I mean, it kind of, and as we sit here and reflect, we were speechless watching, but as we reflect on this, it's a head scratcher.
Yeah, but I'm going to say that is going to be a decisive moment in the Tour de France today.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. I think a lot of folks agree with that.
I agree.
And not to mention, right? If we'd have gone, we could have polled 100 people that follow the sport. You said, here's the finish, right? It's the last kilometer is 5. You got to you would have had to follow the sports, and Pogacar is fast, very fast. All right. So here's your hypothetical finish. The last kilometer is 5% uphill. There's 2 guys. There's Vingegaard and Pogacar. Vingegaard leads it out, and Vingegaard wins.
Yeah.
Nobody would have taken that bet. Yeah. Nobody. Well, that shows. I mean, that
was another thing that he said, wasn't it, Pogacar? In that he said, "I did a pretty good sprint today." After a day like that, there's nothing good about it. He lost.
Yeah. Not only was he,
and he didn't lead it out.
Yeah, half-heartedly trying to maintain the gap between Remco and Roglic by staying on the front.
Yeah.
but he had the confidence. He just kept looking back. He was clearly going for the stage win. Had the confidence in his legs to be able to pull off a really tough sprint after the longest stage of the Tour de France thus far, and be able to beat one of the best, well, definitely the best climbing sprinter in the world.
Yeah. And he rode
awesome
Roglic
sprint.
off the wheel as well, didn't he?
Yep. Yeah, he did.
He got stronger as the stage went on there. He really found himself, but that was incredible. And I think that's, as I say, a decisive moment.
Yeah, and let's back up a bit. I mean, he did drop Jonas on that third to last climb. He rode away from him, but we saw Jonas claw back to 4 or 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And then Jonas put the time on the descent. What does that mean? Jonas risked his life going down that descent.
Yeah.
I mean, not Jonas. Sorry, Pogacar risked his life going down the descent. Jonas perhaps went down a bit more conservatively. Obviously, after all he's been through, being in the hospital for so long, and then just settled into a pace and brought him back slowly on that second climb. That was just, I mean,
and Tadej ended up sideways on that descent at one point, didn't he?
He did.
So he was taking a lot of risks.
Yes.
I mean, it was yeah.
Look, there's tortoise and the hare. I never understood, like growing up, when they make you read about the tortoise and the hare. I said, "There's no way.
No.
There's no way. I mean, the tortoise has to lose every. Come on, I'm not stupid. Tortoise loses every time. Well, I don't know. If you keep reading the book, I guess the tortoise wins. I mean, you have. It's by the way, he was 11 seconds down at the top of that climb. He was 30 seconds down at the bottom. So yes, he rode conservatively, as he should. He's still scared to death.
Yeah.
We saw the cannon he got shot out of in the Basque Country. He's cobbled together.
Yeah.
And but it's like he knew, right? Let me just stay here. By the way, I think you have to know, and you also kind of have to hope. I mean, if Pogacar hits that climb and lights it up like he did the other climb, well, then you lose a minute, right? But you kind of have to gamble, say, let me just ride my tempo, and I'll hope to bring him back. And boy, as the time starts to come down, then you're just putting fuel on the fire.
But the other thing I think that contributes to that is we saw the little clips from the radio where we saw what the DSs were saying to him. Jonas's DS was very calm, very collected, and said, Jonas, still a few seconds down, just keep at this pace, manage your effort. And I thought that was great direction from the DS. And that's the contrast to what we were talking about with Matcha and Pogacar. It's the differences, and Jumbo-Visma they're well trained at this. They're skilled experts at this kind of leading Grand Tours and getting their guys over the line, and that might make the difference as well, like we said.
And maybe the disconnect. I mean, this is not a criticism of Manchin, the director. I think as we talk about this, it's pretty clear the disconnect is between what goes on in the team meeting, what the direction is in the race, and how somebody listens. That's not.
But even his interview at the end with Christian Vanderbilt we were watching, Christian even said it on the TV, didn't he? He said a lot, but he didn't really say a lot. And he stood there like a grinning Cheshire cat. It kind of, it's all ego, and there's no context, there's no content to what he's saying.
Yeah, and in the contrast, we saw the emotion coming out of Jonas. I mean, just bawling, crying, thanking his family. I'm sure thinking about his time in the ICU. Went through a lot of apparently mental issues, obviously, as you would going through something like that. But just we've watched him just every day get a little bit stronger, a little bit more confident. It was funny when the gravel stage, when he got criticized for not pulling through from the riders near him. Well, I don't think that criticism makes any sense anymore, because he's racing for the win. He's not racing for the podium. He's going for the win.
And it's all right though, like you said, that DS at Flanders saying, we got no control over him. He wants to win every bike race. Well, at some point, he's nearly an adult now. You've got to rein him in and say, pull your fucking head out your ass, because this is a Tour de France, and you could win your third Tour de France. It's not a game. This is not juvenile racing.
No. And by the way, could have won other tours.
Yeah.
Let's keep in mind. He's got two. This might have been the third. The other two, we can go. Everybody can go back and look and armchair these things. I mean, you could make the argument that he lost those tours by doing the very same thing.
And he's on the verge of creating history. He could be the first rider to win the Giro Tour double since Pantani.
Yeah.
So it's not a laughing game, and someone's got to rein him in.
Yeah.
Wow. Strongly said.
Sir Bradley,
Well said.
you mentioned while we were watching, the Giro's in his legs.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's
Well, we
coming
don't
into
know,
play?
but he's certainly not helping that, is he?
Yeah.
Let me try this with you guys, because if you saw Pogacar cooling down, he had a stone face, like he was calculating probably all the mistakes he made that day. Do the best you can to say, put yourself in his shoes and Jonas's shoes. What are they thinking right now? Start with Pogacar, both.
If I can jump in, that second to last climb when Pogacar made the time gap to 32 seconds. he's starting that climb with confidence. You could tell he's starting to rock a bit more, so perhaps losing a bit of energy, starts looking back. The directors tell him 30 seconds, 29 seconds. We're counting from the TV. Mentally, that's a huge blow. That's a huge blow. And you could just see in his face. And at one point, he sort of gave up and said, at least I'm going to try to get this time bonus. Yeah. And a guy that has dominated from the first stage of the Giro up until arguably now, to all of a sudden not being able to ride away from anybody, it changes a completely different mindset now moving forward for the rest of the Tour de France.
And when he started looking around on that climb, that's always the sign, isn't it?
Terrible sign.
Yeah.
Look, if you're Pogacar on that cool down bike, to your point, JP,
and I'll add to it, losing a sprint from the back.
Right. Yeah, that's look. This was an all around terrible day for him. I don't care what he says in the post race interview. That interview was complete nonsense. I get it. He's a good guy, very lovable, likable guy, says all the right things. That was not a good day. If you're there cooling down and if he's not thinking this, somebody needs to tap him on the shoulder and remind him this. You got a minute 14, right? This race can still be won. And I will say this, if he rides the perfect race from here on out, he will win the Tour de France. If he rides like he saw today, he will absolutely lose the Tour de France. It is not his job to attack the race. He's in an excellent time trial. He's going to be fine in the time trial in Nice. By the way, we're just halfway through this thing, and I'm going to get into what the last 10 days hold. It is, I can't even believe what I'm reading. It's diabolical, but it's not his job to open up the race. If I'm him, I'm going, all right, that didn't work. The guy has recovered. Momentum has shifted. Now I'm going to sit. It's a rope-a-dope. I'm going to sit back and say, you want to win the Tour, Jonas? Okay. Put your team on the front and you attack. I'll be right here. Let me know.
Let me ask you both of you guys a question. You guys have both won the Tour de France. In what scenario would you ever want to get rid of your best climbers before the last climb or the second and last climb? Why would you want to do that? There's danger on the descents. There's danger of having kinds of issues, crashing. Well, he had 3 guys with him, and they still had 3 climbs to go. Would you guys ever do that? If you were that good, you would make wait till the last climb.
Teammates as far into that
100%.
Well, I can tell you what he was thinking. What he was thinking was he attacked on definitely the hardest climb of the day, number 1. Number 2, he knew that he would put time into him in the downhill. And number 3, which was a mistake, he thought he could keep that advantage or gain more time on a climb that was much easier than the one that he attacked on. Now, didn't work out, right? And to Bradley's point, I tell you, folks, this is yet another PSA from the move. When they start turning around and looking back, you got them. Yeah, we're coming.
Yeah, and he needs to. He's going to need his team more than ever now. And I just feel like, if it was me and I was in that position, I'd be like, why are we doing this? Why are you attacking right now? Why are you taking these chances away from us?
You actually did say that a lot when we raced.
I was never in that position. I wasn't riding with you to the end of the stage on the mountain.
A special shout out to Remco. He suffered through and had a decent day, right? Looked like it was going to. Roglic crashed. Didn't seem like that bad of a crash. Roglic tried. Yeah. Roglic, we were pretty excited. We like this guy.
Yeah. Can I ask you something about the Roglic crash? They used the 3K rule and gave him the same time instead of losing 30 seconds. I didn't know they would do that on a mountain finish.
That will be adjusted. That's
normally just for sprints.
Look,
they did it.
It is not going to matter when it comes to winning the Tour, but that
saved him 30 seconds.
That's actually really interesting.
I think that gets adjusted.
Do you think that he'll end up losing that time?
I mean, an uphill finish. You had
the race officials later adjusted the time.
Yes, they're not adjusting it if they readjusted it to Remco's time.
Okay, well,
that's actually huge.
That might come in or be be a factor when it comes to this conversation about who ends up on the podium. Yeah, it's not going to matter who's standing on top of the podium. We'll talk about tomorrow and the rest of this tour when we come back. Today's show brought to you by Ketone IQ. We often hear that fasting and exercise are good for the brain. HVMN launched the world's first drinkable ketone in 2017. Ketone IQ is their latest innovation on ketones. With improved effectiveness, taste, and cost, Ketone IQ delivers clean fuel that can cross the blood-brain barrier, supplying your brain and body sustained energy, focus, and sharpness. 30% off your first subscription order plus a free 6-pack when you use the link ketone.com/themove. Ketone.com/themove. Also today brought to you by Wahoo. Wahoo. I got my Wahoo computer right here. Wahoo computers are, they're proven in the peloton. They're used by 8 World Tour teams. They have more features than ever, including Wahoo's Summit feature, which I love. And I'm out there riding and I'm on a climb. I want to know one thing. When is this thing over? Like, I want to know when it's over. And we got in this debate a lot, but I'm sure you saw the roads today, right? Small, twisty, turny. You can't account for the stickiness of the road. You saw a lot of slippage out there. Who knows what the surface is like? But boy, it's awfully nice to know what's right around the corner. And these guys are using that map feature when they're going downhill. They all know. They've probably ridden these roads, the climbs and the descents. But it's just nice to have that instant reminder. So, folks, if you're out descending, never been there, swipe over, get on over to the map feature. You know exactly where you're going. Also, they've got the Speed Play pedals as part of their offering, part of the suite. I switched over 12 years ago when I was going from cycling back to triathlon. I had this theory. I was 40 years old, and I was like, I got to transition from the bike to the run. I'm going to make this as easy on my, 2 theories. One, as easy on my hips for the bike to run transition. Seemed to work. I was pretty good when I was a 40-year-old triathlete, and a lot more aero. So, hey, worked for me. Wahoo cycling products are trusted by the Pro Peloton. We see Wahoo's Element Bolt GPS bike computer on the handlebars of 8 teams, as I mentioned. 20% off on select full-price products by using the coupon code THEMOVE, 2024, THEMOVE 2024 at checkout. Head on over to wahoofitness.com/TheMove, and the code is TheMove 2024. Hey, George, a quick question. How'd you sleep last night? I know you've been struggling.
Last night like a baby.
It must be nice. I mean, you guys are going out last night, you and Sir Bradley. I'm going to get to that later in the show. But and I'm just sitting there on my laptop, just working away. They said, you want to come? I said, no. I said, some of us have a real job. All right. So no stress. It must be nice having no stress.
Excuse me, stress. I work with you every day. And my friends at the feed sent me this new magnesium drink called Pillar. I've been drinking it every night before I sleep, and it just does a great job for sleep and recovery.
Does it work?
Absolutely. I've been catching Z's, and it's like my job.
Is that pineapple coconut drink that I tested the other day? It actually tastes pretty good. Magnesium is usually kind of funky, but it wasn't bad.
That's it. It tastes great, and it's just $1 per day.
No, I'm not as cheap as you, but $1 a night for a good night's sleep, I'm on board with that.
You have been getting pretty cheap lately, but
cheap.
Check it out. It's from Australia, and our friends at the feed discovered them. Just go to thefeed.com and save 20% on Pillar.
G'day.
Speaking of catching Z's, the man over here took a 2-hour nap the other day, which in itself is quite impressive. But for me, the more impressive thing was he set an alarm for 2 hours, and he actually used the whole 2 hours. Who sets a 2-hour nap alarm? You give me shit for taking that. You set a 2-hour nap alarm.
Yeah. It's supposed to be 20 minutes, and you hit snooze over and over.
I get 20 minutes, 30-minute timer. I get it. 2 hours?
No. I can sleep anytime and anywhere. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the surface. If there's a pillow up, it doesn't matter. But I had a dinner meeting, and I knew that I couldn't oversleep my nap. And so I just, as a safety net, I set the alarm. I said, well, I'll set it for 2 hours from now. And of course, I go to sleep in a heartbeat. And sure enough, man, that's impressive. That alarm went off, and I was like, geez, I just napped for 2 hours.
That's actually like called going to bed. You went to sleep. That's not a nap. At that point, it's not a nap anymore.
That's like my wife. She's like, I had a great night's sleep. I was like, yeah, what the sleep score? I slept 2 hours. I was like, that's a nap. Anyways,
talk tomorrow.
Well, we can talk about. Tomorrow's interesting. Yet another. Well, I think on paper they'll say this is a sprint stage. We can look at the profile, but I want to go into the second half of this tour just real quick because I think it's important in light of what we saw today in terms of matches burned, momentum shifting. I'll give you some stats on the back half of this tour that's going to blow you away. But here's tomorrow's stage. Not short, 203 kilometers. And look at that start. That's a sucky start.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Filthy start.
Filthy. Not fun. These guys are tired. A lot of guys sick. What did we see, Bradley?
Yeah, 2 riders withdrew today, Cofidis.
Yep.
Fred Wright was outside the time delay.
Yeah.
But
apparently something's going on.
Yeah, I assumed Fred is quite must be sick of some reason.
And there was a rumor that Remco had something going on as
Really?
well. Yeah, that was the rumor I heard this morning.
Getting the scoops. Our profile went away. It's all right. Anyways, do we see us? Maybe we see a breakaway stay away tomorrow.
Normally, yeah. I mean, that's normally
that start is going to be.
But
I mean,
Yeah, can we go back to the profile?
maybe UAE are going to keep it together. And, just who knows?
Yeah, I mean, certainly going to be a breakaway from the start.
Yeah.
But if there's some good sprinters left, they're going to get together after 80K, after those hard little climbs, and try to reel back that breakaway. Just depends how big it is, whether or not they catch them.
I'm calling breakaway. I think one goes and stays.
Yeah,
It's a hard day for some of them. I mean, Alpecin going to get up there and ride Astana. I mean, it's hard for those teams to.
Yeah,
this is a nasty stage. I know on paper they're calling this a sprint stage, but yeah, maybe in week one this has been such a and yet again, just congratulations to ASO. I don't know if you designed this thing to make this shit's about to get real.
yeah.
They asked Cav how many more sprint chances. He said he only said one. He said one because he's probably ruling this out as a breakaway
Because he's going home. Because he's going home after tomorrow. Let's get what was he talking about tomorrow and the next day? Those are really there might be another day mixed in there.
They're the ones that Johan originally identified was tomorrow and then 15.
Okay, so let's assume we have what we call easier days or more manageable days for the GC riders. That's Thursday, Friday. I'm just going to click off what starts Saturday, right? Because the race starts Saturday. And now the momentum has shifted. Yes, Pogacar is up by 114. By the way, Remco's 106 down. He's in the conversation Saturday. And I'm going to speak total vert. To me, all that matters is total vert. When I go out riding, people ask me, how many miles do you ride? I said, I don't even know. Who cares? Let's talk about vert. Total vert is what matters. All right, I'm going to click these off. Saturday, 4,000 meters, 13,200 feet. Sunday, 4,800 meters, 15,800 feet. I'm translating these from meters to feet for all you people in the U.S., America. A couple chill days. Wednesday, 2,850, which is 8,500. Thursday, 3,100, 10,200. Friday, 4,400, 14,500. Saturday, the final hard day before the time trial. By the way, on Sunday, you get to do a time trial. That isn't easy. That Saturday, 4,600 meters, 15,000 feet of climbing. Jeez. That is the last week.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, if you're Visma-lease-a-bike, you're going. I mean, what they're also hoping is let's hope Pogacar keeps racing like this. Makes our job a lot easier.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a lot harder if he does exactly what we told him to do. Visma-lease-a-bike has a hard job.
Yeah, and like you pointed out, he's still a minute 15 behind Pogacar.
Yeah, you got to make up
Pogacar
time.
dropped him on that one climb. I mean, Jonas wouldn't have let him ride away. He said it was just going too hard. Yes, he was able to claw him back, but if Pogacar can look at that attack and say, okay, I can drop him here. If I ride a bit smarter, maybe I can drop him at the end of a climb while saving energy. The race is far from over, but it's as exciting as it has ever been at this stage at this point of the race.
Did we have any update on Wout van Aert and his crash? He was okay, wasn't he? He got up.
He was okay. Yeah.
Yeah. He went down pretty hard.
He did go down really hard. And they're in a perfect position. They don't have to control the race. No. They just need to follow for now and attack when they see fit. No, they cannot.
You're talking about Visma?
I'm talking about Visma.
At some point, they're going to have to open up the race.
Yeah.
Right. So then, I mean, Tade does have the team. We said it. Yeah. 4 guys in the top 10. Imagine a world where they say, "Okay, guys, you want to win the Tour de France? I'm in the lead. You want to win it? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go for it."
That's what they should do.
Let me see. That's exactly what they should do.
Yeah.
Then Visma they have to have the guys. Do they have the guys to get on the front and take it from 100 guys to 50 to 20 to 10?
To 5 for that matter, to drop Almeida, to drop Yates, to drop Ayuso.
Yeah.
I mean, they're missing Sepp Kuss big time right now. But Jonas, like you said, has got the momentum right now. So I think it's just going to get better and better as the race unfolds.
He has the momentum, but he also will have the responsibility.
Yeah.
Which is a big responsibility. Minute 14 is a minute 14. Yep. He might make up a little time in the time trial if he rides a perfect TT, but yeah, anyways. Quick update here from Aspen. Sir Bradley's been here. How long have you been here? 4 days?
4 days, yeah.
And my sources told me last night, and I quote, this has been the best week of my life. It had only been 3 days. That's when you know it's good. when you can declare that one of the best weeks of your life, and it's only been 3 days. God forbid. Imagine it's a whole week. This has been a lifetime of good stuff. I also, this is kind of a hometown for me, so I have people everywhere.
Yeah, of course you do.
And I stay at home and work.
What's Dateline?
I love Dateline.
Yeah.
I crack that code every night. But I've got I have people out in town checking, and Sir Bradley has really made himself at home here in Aspen, Colorado. And as a matter of fact, so much so, he's out in all the hipster stores where all the pretty ladies are hanging out. But I caught a little footage of Sir Bradley down at Kimosabi. Now this, hold on a second. Can we hit play on this? That's okay. That's the start. Now, this is a day you just have to watch because you have to see that. But it wasn't enough to see that video. I've got some images too. So starts with this. You guys are clearly making a purchase at Kimos. I saw this picture from one of my sources. George looks like George. Sir Bradley, I'm not sure but I had to zoom in and take a screenshot of. Let's go a little tighter, Gabriel.
They're my running shorts.
Can I understand. But your balls are hanging out of your running shorts. Yeah, well, almost. I mean,
they're not.
Please,
Lance, come on.
No, what?
We were swimming before that, and I left my swimmers on.
True story.
Okay, go back to the other picture. I mean, that's disturbing enough, and I just had to zoom in. I can't unsee this. Go back tight.
Come on.
Oh, no.
Come on. The marathon shorts.
Yeah.
Marathon.
Well, I'll tell you what, they went down a treat in Kimosabi.
What?
They went down a treat in Kimosabi.
What's that mean?
Just biblical, weren't they?
Yeah.
Shorts, they'll be remembered forever in that
Their
store.
word for sure, 100%. 100%.
Oh, Lord. I'm glad you are enjoying yourself.
Yeah, best week of my life.
Halfway through. Not even halfway through.
Well, we're all having fun. Listeners are enjoying it, so stick around after this Ventum trivia.
And then we'll have the other thing.
We've got more. Yeah,
The Ginsu knife is coming back.
Gift that keeps giving.
But now let's do Ventum trivia. We're giving away a brand new NS1.
Free bikes. Free bikes.
But you've got to answer the question and submit it. Yesterday's question was, what fitness competition did Lance recently get first place in his age group? That was Hydrox, New York City.
Right.
High Rocks.
Sorry. Today's question, what year and city and country did Lance win UCI Road Race World Championships?
Oslo, Norway. Oh, no. Sorry, but that's...
He's going to win.
Hey,
That's good.
Have I won the bicycle?
you're making it easy for our listeners to submit the answer,
Next one,
so
go on.
I don't mind. VentumRacing.com/TheMove. Submit your answer, okay?
By the way, I just did a little Troy Kimmeling and chance of rain. Quite over 50% chance of rain tomorrow. So, JB, I thought we have some from our friends down in Eritrea. I was so curious.
We do.
I was so curious what, and I said it yesterday, and I asked folks. I said, I got to imagine y'all are sitting around. It's almost like what it seems like when some countries or fans are watching the World Cup. Like, what is going on in Eritrea when Binyan Germay is winning? And we got some footage, which is
This is
exactly what I expected.
Yeah, this came from Hanuk.
Hanuk, he'll be our tour guide when we go.
This was in a bar.
Wow, look at that.
Wait, it's going to get rolling. It's a video.
Wow. Okay. You know what?
Wait, and then it goes out on the streets here in a second, too. Look at they're ripping paintings off the wall, I think.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Oh, that's brilliant.
All right. That.
And then this is outside in the streets.
Amazing.
You know what? I mean, that. All right. I thought that was happening. Now I didn't. That made the hair on the back of my neck stand up.
Yeah.
That is. We're on Peacock today, baby. That is so cool. That we coming, right? Now, y'all in Eritrea, our coach here in Colorado, University of Colorado, is Deion Sanders. We call him Coach Prime, and he has this expression, and you can look it up down there, over there. And he says, "We coming." I see stuff like that, and all I got to say is, "We coming." That is so cool. That is so cool. I got chills.
Yeah, super cool.
My God. I want more of that.
We do have another video coming in a second that's pretty cool, pretty historic for Tour de France. But here's a few comments from YouTube. John writes, Sir Wiggo looks more American than you lot. Maybe with the cowboy hat. Robert writes, I followed this podcast since its inception, absolutely love it, and didn't think it could possibly get any better, but you've outdone yourself again with Sir Bradley Wiggins. Right. Unbelievable, never disappointed. Keep up the great work.
Translation, George. They're getting sick of us.
One more about Sir Bradley. Jeff writes, Sir Brad is dialed in on placing his cowboy hat crown down.
Lance showed me that.
So as never to spill the luck. Must have had a friend or two in the rodeo circuit.
Lance, you showed me that, didn't you?
Which I think Sir Bradley is going to the rodeo tonight.
I'm going to the rodeo
if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, my God.
I'll be there.
I will not be. I'll be watching Colombia play Uruguay, so I'm sorry to miss that with you guys.
What time's that game?
6 p.m. today.
I'm doing that mutton
Vamos,
fumbling thing.
Colombia.
Mutton busting?
Mutton fumbling.
Mutton tumbling?
Is it mutton fumbling?
Mutton busted.
Oh,
that will surely make the paper. You know, we've had the sheriff's department's called, and we had a grown man insist. He was told by Lance Armstrong that he's allowed to do the mutton busting.
What do you mean with a mutton?
They might let you do it if you wear those shorts to the rodeo.
You wear those. Let me tell you something. Okay, JB, that's an excellent point. You should roll up. You can wear your hat. You should roll up in them shorts.
Yeah.
All right. They're going to be a bunch of 5 and 6 and 7-year-olds. And if they say, sir, you can't do it, you say, well, why not? I'm wearing the shorts that I had when I was 6 years old. Yeah. Doesn't that allow me?
So what you got to do? Pick a sheep up and bad body slam it? Is that
pretty much? Yeah. You just got to hold on.
You just got to hold it.
Yeah. You got to wear the helmet.
Kill a sheep.
All right, this is a really good email, and I think you're just being the historian, Wiggle, you'll like this. I'm enjoying watching the Move podcast daily, and I have a trivia question of my own for Sir Bradley, George, and Lance. When did the era of drinking raids at the Tour de France, when riders used to stop at the cafes and take whatever they wanted, finally come to an end? Enjoy the rest of Le Tour, and thanks for the insight and commentary. That is from Martin in Toronto. We have a video to show everybody what these raids used to be like back in the day when they needed food and drink.
Ça, c'est un des moments les plus importants du Tour de France, c'est la chasse à la canette.
Oh, coming in.
Ils entrent dans le
Rushing into the convenience store, cafe.
Ils ne vont pas jusqu'à piller, mais enfin, ils réclament.
It isn't quite looting.
That's Carpagna. That's late 60s.
Red wine, champagne, and beer.
Même de l'eau, quand ils ne trouvent pas mieux. Et en général, c'est ce qu'ils devraient prendre, c'est de l'eau. Et puis ils s'en vont, bien souvent sans payer d'ailleurs, bien dire.
And I bet the store café owners are honored, right?
Yeah.
To have everybody run in and grab food.
No.
Oh, man.
I think they had, early in that clip, you had the lady who clearly looked like she worked there. She was walking the guys in, like, it's right here.
Look at that. Champagne, beer.
That is wild.
He had a bottle of champagne in his jersey.
Mais ils ont une excuse, parce qu'ils transpirent tellement.
But there's a good excuse, the caption says. On a hot day of the Tour de France,
un coureur peut perdre
a racer can lose up to 8 pounds.
4 litres.
Mon Dieu. And up to a gallon of sweat. So you have to drink.
Popsicles.
Oh yeah, look at this. I mean, what this is so cool. Wool jerseys.
That is cool.
Either they still. But imagine if that happened. I mean, Julian Bernard got that 100 Swiss franc fine for kissing his wife. Boy, if you pulled that off today, they might give you a 200 Swiss franc fine.
Do you guys know the answer to when it ended?
I would say late 60s, early 70s that stopped. I think the Merckx era. When the Merckx era came in, I would say. But I don't know for sure. But
that's real footage.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, and
that's
kind of nothing. I mean, if you go back
mid
to
'60s, that's San
boy,
Rafael.
you go back in the early
Carpagna.
1900s. This was like going to Disneyland. The crap they pulled back then
And the stages were longer, and they didn't have any gears. They had to change their own flats.
Well, there's one story of a gentleman in the early 1900s who stopped and welded his forks back together, didn't he? There's a story, before the last climb because he broke his forks on the descent.
Wow. Yeah.
Incredible.
Send your questions in themove@wedo.team.
Yeah. What a day. Just to recap, I mean, I think to recap it, we're speechless. But all is not lost. Right? We're going to see if there's a disconnect between Pogacar and whoever's dictating tactics.
Yeah.
This is going to be really interesting. He has the lead. It's, but
if it were me, I'd fly in Alan Piper.
Is he on the race, Alan?
No,
he's not.
No, he's not. I don't even know if he's with the team anymore.
I know he's very close, still very close to Pogacar. So I'm sure there's some communication there. You would think Alan would just be like, "Hey, buddy, this is stop doing that. This is what you have to do." And hey, we're going to find out. We're halfway through. We got an exciting final half.
Maybe we could get Alan on the show.
Well, I'm sure that talk to Johan.
Yeah. It's quite possible. Yeah, that'd be a great idea. It's quite possible we get to that final TT and they're within a minute of each other. I think about that.
It needs to be closer.
Yeah.
I don't think if you're saying if Pogacar has a minute,
they're within a minute of each other.
Yeah, I don't think that's that exciting. I think we need it to be 20, 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And we might see it.
Yeah.
We might see it. Look, that's the thing about burning matches. You can go home and try to replenish and refuel and all. But when you chop down that tree, it's tough to get that thing to grow back. Yeah. And I'm talking about glycogen stores. That's the thing. When the guy's eating on the podium, he's trying. He's like, I got to fuel this thing and get that tree to grow. And we shall see. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow.